and welcome to the GenXplainers podcast, The Perfect Song. I'm here today with an expanded panel. Along with me and Mike and Al, we have two special guests. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hey there, I'm Mandy. Thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Tony. I'm Matt's brother wearing expandable pants.
Nice. Expandable pants. So we're all pantsed up and ready to go. And
Just
today
as I was wearing pants.
Oh, I guess I don't know. Yes, we don't know.
The mystery only known to our Patreon.
If you were subscribed on Patreon, you would know the pants situation. But today's song is brought to us by our guest panelist, Tony, my brother. And
Yes.
I'm going to throw it to him and let him introduce the song. Go ahead.
The song that I brought is a very important song to me because it's one of my favorite bands off one of my favorite albums. It is sung by the Pretenders called Kid. And it has a lot of parts to it that make it all such a great song. There's a really cool retro guitar sound at the beginning intro that is refrained right after the first verse. There's a super jammin' birds-like guitar solo by the guitarist James Honeyman Scott in the middle of the song, and then it does a whole modulation key change in the song, which gives it a little more depth and a little more. It actually changes from a one key that's a little sadder and goes up to another key and makes it feel like a little bit hope at the end of it.
What changed your mood? We got all sad, so I feel sad too. I think I know some things will never outgrow. You think it's wrong, I can tell you do. How can I explain? You don't want me to.
The subject matter is basically about a woman whose kid finds out that she's a prostitute. So, something that happens to most of us. But it's,
All the listeners right now. What?
Yeah, I had no idea that that's what it was about.
Spit takes
Yeah.
all around.
so what? It's such a happy sounding, plus it's on an album with a lot of really hard rocking songs. And this song just seems like such a departure. But I've heard early demos and it was a little bit harder in some of the other early demos. But this one is, it's to me, I love the song. And I know a lot of other people do. I don't know anyone who hates it. I have some friends who say it's their favorite song of all time. But I don't know. Hopefully I'll find someone who hates that and it'll be great.
Lively debate.
Yes.
So the podcast has touched on this song a little bit when we did the show on the debut album from Pretenders. But yeah, we're going to get a little more in depth with this particular song, which I really enjoy as well. Again, so we've had our say on it. I'll just say that I love it and throw it over to Manny because, we haven't heard her experience on it at all. So let's hear it.
And she has notes.
I have notes.
Oh, nice.
It's probably my favorite Pretender song. And her voice, Chrissy Hynde's voice, to me has always been one of my favorites. I used to often think, like, if I could have anybody's voice, who would it be? And hers or Alison Moyet's, like, those are the two voices. There is a breakdown with the drums in the middle that I super love. There's a lot of times that songs don't take you anywhere. They kind of just keep going in the same, but not with this one. It goes all over the place. There's a super lovely live slow version that I love. That's really nice. It goes to a scene in the movie 17 again that I love.
You don't understand. If turn your head.
Mom?
Yeah. Hey, Alex.
I adore it. I love the line, how can I explain when you don't want me to? I had no idea that it was what you were saying it is in regards to the meaning of the song. But yeah, love it. Love her voice. Love the song. Love the band. It's great.
Okay. How about you, Al?
I think I've already been on record as saying that this album is one of the greatest albums of all time. And Kid is no small part of that. It's a fantastic song. Kid is one of my favorites as well. And I can't say enough about Chrissie Hynde's voice, and I can't say enough about James Honeyman Scott. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. But you, Mike?
Yeah, well, I don't associate the song with 17 again, but that's okay. I do associate it with Chrissie Hynde being my favorite female rocker voice ever. And so when I think about the song, I think about high school quite a bit, listening to this and a number of albums. I think that I had this on vinyl. I can't remember for sure. I think I had it on vinyl. If not, I had a cassette. But yeah, and I played it quite a bit. This and Brass in Pocket. I remember probably over at Alan's house, seeing Brass in Pocket videos on MTV, Brass in Pocket video on MTV all the time. And so it is something that sticks with me. It's a great song. There's not too much more I could add to it than I haven't added on the other podcasts and this, and it's great. So
all right. So let me just pop in with, I mean, Tony, you have some little trivia about it, but I have a little trivia, unless you have something you want to do.
You might be, but I don't want to repeat you. So.
Okay. Well, you already talked about the subject matter of the lyrics.
Right.
There was a quote from Chrissie Hynde about it. And she says, it's about a prostitute whose son finds out what she does for a living. And this is her having a conversation with him. Not all songs are autobiographical, she says at the end. And the other thing, and this is something you might speak to, is that I guess in the songwriting, Honeyman Scott put a lot of time in the solo. I think it was Martin Chambers, the drummer, who said that Honeyman Scott kind of went off to the side or put himself separate and worked a lot on the solo itself. And a lot of the feel of his guitar and that he purposely tried to tailor and make it sound more like it does in comparison to the other album, because of Chrissie Hynde sort of deciding to write songs that weren't from a punk influence or rock influence. She wanted to do a more, I guess, approachable pop sounding song. And I think Brass in Pocket is probably a similar idea. And to me, this song, the sound of Kid, sounds a lot like, and reminds me a lot of like the later albums, Learning to Crawl or Get Close, those later albums.
Yeah.
Sort of the feel of them and the tone of them,
Show me the meaning of the word. Show me the meaning of the word.
And then last bit of trivia here. Johnny Marr of the Smiths has cited Honeyman Scott as an influence and often used Kid as a warm-up song before gigs. I did not know.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good choice.
The thing about the, like you said, Mandy, he kind of hits a lot of different areas. That whole beginning is almost like it sounds kind of like a surf guitar, but it's very, 50s, 60s pop sounding. And that walking bass throughout the song really drives it too. And Martin Chambers is right on it, right in the pocket. And that Pete Farndon, the bass player, that bass line is just so right on the money, and it just fits those chords perfectly. And it's a classic 50s chord progression. The difference is she'll throw in like a little flavor of the chord, during the pre-chorus.
I think I know.
See, the walking bass is going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Right
this
here.
part.
You think it's wrong. I can tell you do.
That's a whole new chord. And it goes back to
You don't want me to.
And then it goes back. Very
back
nice.
to the top, kind of, but only as a half of it,
Cool.
And then the second time they do it, they go into the, I guess, middle eight. It's very much more rocking in the middle, or right before the guitar solo.
Let me see.
See right here.
Turn your
Yeah.
head.
Instead of going back into reverse, here's the bridge.
All my sorrow.
Then from the bridge it's a classic bridge into a solo thing, but the solo follows this, and then after this, the whole song modulates to E. So back here it's modulating, it already went up a key for the solo. And you notice he's not doing the walking bass during this part. He's doing the straight 16th notes.
And then now it's in a different key.
Yeah, that's a different key now. But
It's like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. It's brilliant. Chris Thomas, who produced actually the Sex Pistols album, produced this album.
When you say walking bass, explain
It's
that.
like it's one that goes. It's following notes within the chord, where it's like dun 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 dun, rather than just holding notes and playing the one note. It's kind of doing that. It's doing like an arpeggio of multiple notes over one chord. So you'll hear it
because when you originally said, I'm like, that's not a special instrument.
No, it's not a special
Yeah,
instrument. It's
yeah,
just the way
that's-
the style of playing. Sorry.
Who played the
actual bass that walks.
arpeggio on that?
Oh, the
And
arpeggio, that was
what
an
a-
arpeggio master, Dave.
I want to introduce on arpeggio, Franco. I don't know. Seems like a guy who would play arpeggio. Franco arpeggio.
We need a arpeggio. Franco, come in.
Not on the menu.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. I'm just now thinking, like, because the album, I do think of the album as such a rocking album, but when I look at the released singles, this was the second one. The first one was "Stop Your Sobbing," and then the
which
third
is a
one
great
is "Brass."
song too.
Yeah, and "Brass in Pocket." So if you just knew the singles, you would not expect "Precious" or "Tattooed Love Boys" or any of that stuff.
Wasn't "Stop Your Sobbing" a Kinks song?
It is.
Yes.
It is a cover. It is a cover. Yeah, it's a Kinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
When did like Back on the Chain and Don't Get Me Wrong? That was after all this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was later. Yeah.
Because that did seem a little more mainstream.
Yeah, they did this, and then Pretenders 2. And then I think the next one was Learning to Crawl, right? There wasn't one in between.
Yeah.
And that was after the two band members were out and dead. And the sound, those albums sound more like those singles that Alan mentioned that were released.
Right.
They're not as straight ahead, just like kind of like live songs or something,
Yeah.
James Honey, it's got to be funny without them. Of course, we wouldn't be here. All right, girls?
So I'm sorry, what album is this kid on?
The first
It's the
one.
first. The first one.
first
79.
one.
Debut.
79.
It came out in
79.
79?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the production value on it's amazing.
It's great. And
Yeah,
I
it's-
wouldn't have known that. It doesn't sound like that at all.
That's the thing. The other reason about this song in particular, it's again one of those timeless songs that you play it 30, 40 years from now, and you go, oh, wow, that's a really good song.
Yeah.
Because it just has that. It has all the pieces for a good song. And that's why I like it. And that's why I think it's a perfect song.
Wait, we haven't voted. Wait.
Don't take my job.
Well, we have to do it now. I mean, what choice do we have? Let's get to voting on
You
it.
painted me into a corner.
We hope you're enjoying this Gen Explainers podcast. Please remember to find us and follow us on social media. And we'd much appreciate a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. Now, let's get back to the show. So, Tony brought up the song and he just told you what he thinks. So that's fine. He gives a thumbs up. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go next and say, yes, it is. I mean, for all those reasons we gave, yes, it is. How about someone else?
I'm
I'll
gonna
go.
say, oh, okay.
What's that?
I
we
say
all gonna
yes.
talk.
I say yes.
You
I
say,
stand up and say yes.
okay.
I'm not
Let's go to-
standing. I'm sitting.
Okay. All right, Mandy, why don't you hit it?
I third that motion. I say yes.
You say yes. And Mike, he's going to be a
Well,
spoiler. I decided
that-
I hate it.
Now that
I
we did
decided
all
no.
that, I'm gonna say yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. Come on.
It's great. Even the slow version to 17 again.
Oh, yes.
Zac
we-
Efron. I mean,
Either-
what are you going to do?
Zac Efron.
Who's that?
And it's not.
Zoe
not
will
the
know.
Yeah, no, actually, she only knows the female stars. by heart.
Okay.
Which is fine with me because they're the ones who are worth the time at this point because everything else is.
But whenever we do the podcast on Thriller, Mandy's going to talk about 13 going on 30.
I totally am.
It's always in the context of the
And
movie.
how the music video scared the crap out of me as a kid.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I guess it was kind of scary.
I guess it was. Yeah.
I was like
Makeup.
6.
Yeah.
All
Did
right,
we
go.
get 5 votes for yes?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
no,
did.
it's the whole-
Congratulations.
All 5. All
Lee
5.
Robert Smith on a turkey on top of Morrissey on top of the top hat.
On top of Chrissy Hine.
On top of Chrissy Hine.
Chrissy.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
That's a whole other podcast.
That is a totally different one. So there you have it. Thank you for listening. Kid, great song. Check it out. Listen to it again. And I want to thank everyone. Mike's yawning a lot, but it's okay. We're deep into this. So thanks for listening and say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Drinking. Downing a drink. Okay.
Confidently telling you this is water.
Just water.
Okay, Tito's.